Right. What is going on, ladies and gents? Back again with another video. How are we all doing? I don't know if this is a good time or a bad time to stream. Obviously, time zone wise, I don't think many of the viewers. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we might run this one a little bit more like a video. So we'll see how it goes. But as usual, let me get a quick audio and visual check before I go into anything so that I'm not talking into a brick wall as opposed to people. And as you are tuning in, do me a favor and smash up those likes. Yeah, it looks like either this channel is dead, like actually fully dead, or this is just a horrible time to stream. It's probably a mix of the two. It's probably a mix of the two. And it's interesting, right? Like, so many people are out of the market now. And, I think the biggest reason for that is because they're not making money, right? And if you're not making money here, then you're just killing yourself mentally and not actually getting paid for it. So that's really, really bad. And I think that's actually resulted in a lot of people leaving. I mean, it's a really, really empty bull market. It's one of the reasons I think we're going to see a much bigger bull market. But we'll get to that later on. Shout out to those of you dropping some comments here in the live chat. How you guys doing? What's up, 𝐿𝐸𝗔𝗟? What is that name? I can't even read that. What's up, Symbol? Notification Gang, what's up? Shout out to Delilah. How you doing, Delilah? Hi, Sammy. Glad the war is over. Had a feeling it would be soon. Yeah, well, you got good intuition. You've got good intuition. I think most people, because humans obsess over tragedy, I think most people wanted this war to go on for a long time. That's silly. And I think you were able to see through it. So good on you for that. Shout out to Chris Lamb. What's going on? They shook everyone out but the institutions. Absolutely. And it's not, something that was far-fetched. Here on this YouTube channel, we were talking about ideas like that going back a really long time. And, it's just what we expected, right? Like, we don't necessarily need, clearly, a bear market to shake retail out. Although we did have one. But you can also clearly shake retail out in a bull market. And, it's so poetic, just how I don't know how silly it is, because, if we take a look at this kind of on a weekly time frame, something a little bit large, I mean, it's like I've been saying constantly, this whole market has been, you move up and then you just kind of wait a little bit, right? And then, you move up again and now you're waiting, and then you move up and now you're waiting, and then you move up and now you're waiting with a bit more pain. You go up and now you're waiting with pain and then back up. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been saying for the last few weeks that we're just clearly in another, continuation pattern. I really don't understand why these are such controversial opinions. But obviously, that's okay. I don't, like I say, I don't need everybody to agree with me on these things. That's not, how I'd be making money. Obviously, I've got to kind of position properly. And be early to those ideas, right? Which is exactly what we're doing here. So shout out to Martin. What's going on? Crypto Boots double my entire trade account in the last 3 days. Shout out to Crypto Boots. That is really, really cool. Hang on, I can't read your comments properly. As an Israeli, I made shitload of money in those 12 days. Really? How was that? Were you selling bombs or something? USMC Cello says, or CeeLo, got out at 110k. I'm good with the profit. Okay with sitting the rest out. Well, good luck, sir. I really hope that that turns out well for you. I would feel a little bit uncomfortable if I was underexposed right now, but obviously to each their own. More Zarabi from Tehran. You're watching this from Tehran. You guys even have YouTube out there? You guys have you need a VPN for YouTube, don't you? How are you? I hope your family's good. Obviously we don't want people getting bombed. But if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. I'm going to try and not make this super, super political, but, I can't really help it sometimes. I'll try and keep it, keep a lid on it. AL says, I knew the attack was coming 2 days before, sold everything. How did you know, bro? How did you know? You're not the only one that knew, by the way. Here's an interesting chart. We're on the daily, and the market topped out like 2 days before Israel struck Iran. So maybe And if this is true, I fucking called you out in the first like 5 minutes of the stream. So that's hilarious. But maybe our commenter here was talking about this right here. Can you see the difference in this second peak of this particular bull run compared to the previous second peak of the last? But we'll take a look at that in a bit. Morzarabi from Tehran says, you do have YouTube in Iran. Everything is as crazy as it can get. I can imagine, dude. I can imagine. Oh, okay. So Eyal is Israeli. He has friends in the army. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, look, I guess, military fans can give you a little bit of a... I mean, that's kind of, I mean, as a trader, that's pretty powerful. So, that's cool if you've got that. I was just looking at this chart before we went live, right? Because, obviously this dump makes a lot of sense, but the dump that, came before, this is clearly insider information, and that's exactly kind of what I thought right before I went live over here. So, I took my mom to the supermarket 2 days before to buy mineral water cans and stuff like that. Yeah, that's good. Everyone should be stacking up right now. I mean, I don't know if shit's gonna get bad in the rest of the world, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't harm anybody to have, a little bit more supplies and stuff like that. I think that's definitely a smart idea. So. Good to be able to protect your family, and I hope that your family also. I'm guessing you're in Tel Aviv, although I have no idea. Hopefully, you and your family are safe as well. Like I said, no bombs. Yeah, we don't want them on either side, obviously. But yeah, this is an interesting one. I just want to see if a couple more people come in. If you're enjoying the stream so far, do me a favor and smash up those likes. If we don't see a kind of better viewership here for this stream, I'll still interact with you guys, obviously, but I'm going to run this a little bit more like a normal video. I'll literally hit record on my side, and I'll only upload the recorded segment, so that, this can get picked up by the rest of the world when they wake up. But, in hindsight, BTC was just in a bull flag. I mean, yeah, but you don't need hindsight for that, bro. You need 4 flies, all right? You need this YouTube channel. We've been saying that for a few days. Yeah, actually for a few weeks we've been saying that. That we're literally just, slowly trending down in a classic bull flag down to a brilliant support level. We front ran the support level, like it was actually quite obvious. And I feel like if you went back on this YouTube channel, you would have seen tons of examples of that. Yet, obviously, everybody wants an exciting, roller coaster of emotions and stuff like that. And, well, it just is what it is. But smash up those likes as you are tuning in here. And let's see how high we can get them. We got Florida in the house. What's going on? California. Who else we got in the live chat today? And we'll probably be looking to start this off soon. S&P 500 closed obviously a few hours ago, and pretty good. I mean, I don't know what was, like I was looking at this chart and I was scratching my head the last 2 days. I was like, what is making people bearish right now? I was like, what is happening to make people feel like we're entering a bear market? Because I've been seeing so much of this shit, like not just online, like on Twitter and stuff, but like in group chats as well, and I'm like, where are you? Like, you guys must be like seeing something or having fucking secret society meetings or something, because I don't know what you're seeing that's making you feel bearish about this chart. Like even now, I mean, this is today's candle, okay, whatever, but if you go back, or I guess yesterday's candle now, if you go back and you just look at, Friday's candle, where the last weekly, closed, like even if we just replay this thing, like it's still not a bad chart. I mean, this is the chart people looked at and they told you that the markets were in trouble. Are you serious? Like, up until this candle right here, can we just take a moment, ladies and gents? Seriously, can we just take a moment? Okay, we know how it looks right now, okay? Hang on. We're about to turn this up right here. We're about to turn this up. Okay, we know how the market looks right now. Trump negotiated the thing, and now there's no more fighting between Israel and Iran, whatever. We know that this is what the market looks like, but let's replay just one candle back, okay? This is what the charts looked like yesterday. And we had people, convinced that this is like the end of the bull market. Convinced. You know, and really, well, I mean, look, I don't know why, like, you guys need to do this more often, right? You don't even need me for this. I mean, if you really watch this YouTube channel and you pay attention, you don't need this YouTube channel for more than like a week. I'm serious, for a week. You can learn that. I know you can learn that quickly because I've been coaching somebody who learned incredibly quickly, and he didn't even need me to learn that quickly either. It was his willpower. So this is very, very obvious, okay? Bitcoin has been in a long-standing bull market, and it corrected down. It managed to rise up by 50% in a month and a half. It took a month and a half to go up by 50%. Smash up the likes as you're tuning in, ladies and gents, for this absolutely beautifully well-timed live stream. And from there, we saw a total of a 12% correction. A 12%. That's not even what I would call a moderate correction, okay? We're well aware of how Bitcoin can comfortably drop by 40% and then still recover inside of a bull market. It's happened many times. If you feel like it can't happen, then, you know, you shouldn't be in crypto. You don't have the risk tolerance. And this was only a 12% drop. And we had people convinced that this market was going to enter a bear market. And I could not for the life of me understand where that's coming from, because if we take a look at some basic stuff, yeah, let's take a look at a basic Fibonacci retracement from this low to the high. We didn't even hit the 382 retracement level yet. We didn't even hit our first significant support level. You know, I get a couple of comments every now and then saying, yeah, I'm tuning into the Four Flies video today, and it's just going to be 20 minutes of him telling me why the market's bullish. But, bro, it is bullish. You know, like, I could come on here and lie to you or capitalize. Oh my God, if I did this, so much more money. I could come on here and lie to you guys and capitalize on all of the fear and the hysteria and the excitement and pump that shit up and then, you know, promote a shit coin and just. This is YouTube. It's so easy to make money, right? Instead, I'm just spitting the raw facts, ladies and gents. Smash up the like, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff if you haven't done so already. And if you want to be able to trade the markets on 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓, a really, really cool platform, something that you're already used to, good proof of reserves, great liquidity, the same buttons that you already know, you can get exclusive chart updates from the team right here on 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓. So check that out if you're not from a restricted region. Really, really cool stuff. You know, if you like what we're putting out here, if you find that, you know, we have incredible intuition, which we do, then you're getting much more actionable examples of that right here on 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓. So super, super exciting stuff. The stuff that actually leads to potentially some cool plays in the market. So, you know, we didn't even reach a significant, you know, support level down at this 382 support level. And we had people just losing their minds. Here's the Ichimoku cloud. You know me, I love the Ichimoku cloud. Here on the daily time frame, we didn't even hit it. We didn't even fall into one of our most reliable zones of support that we've been watching on this YouTube channel going back 7-8 years. We didn't even fall into it. Yeah, that's how shallow this pullback has been. And like I showed this to you on the S&P 500, right? Because it's even more ridiculous. But people, I swear to you, just go back. People with a straight face yesterday told you that this is a bearish chart. That this is a bear. Like, I don't know who's pulling this shit out of where. You got to stop listening to them. And if it's you, you got to smack yourself, mate. 'Cause you're not getting your shit straight. You're not getting your shit. You know, we've pulled off an incredible back test off the previous all-time high right here. And this is classic Trump fashion, by the way. He turns up the heat, makes people really, really scared, and then reverses course and things get better. Here's the tweet. By the way, this is what your boy posted, what is this, June 17 now, so like 5-6 days ago, whatever, maybe a week ago now. Best case scenario, Israel and the United States apply intense pressure on Iran. Iranian armed forces and citizens lose faith in leader. That's already been happening for years, but, you know, I was hoping it would happen a lot faster. Iran doesn't seem to, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to, you know, like, they try, obviously, but, like, I don't know. I thought more of the, you know, civilians would be like, all right, we're done with this guy. Because anyway, let's not. Trump forces Iran back to negotiations. So this is after all of that pressure on Iran. And then Iran concedes and Trump wins without an American missile landing on Persian soil. This is the only thing I got wrong. This is the only thing I got wrong. And there was another prediction that I made, but I deleted it because it was too political. But basically what I said is Trump is a master negotiator. Nobody negotiates better than him. He literally won 3 elections in a row. He's quite capable when he tries to put his mind to something. And even in this case, what I think we're going to be seeing is Trump is going to make Iran feel incredibly weak. In this case, they took out their nuclear capabilities. Whether you agree or not is up to you. But I think it's, safe to, I don't know, maybe our boy in the chat, AL, maybe you can shed some light on this. I don't know how, openly you're willing to talk about stuff, but I would love to hear your thoughts. So maybe, if you don't want to, comment publicly, you can, ceasefire is supposed to happen in 3 hours from now. That's why we're live. Hey Al, if you don't want to comment publicly, you can also DM on Twitter or Instagram, whatever you like. My links are there in the description. I'd love to know. I mean, if you know, but it looks like they took out their nuclear capabilities, and then the flip side of this now is that they're done, right? They've lost. They're in a weak position, and Trump and Netanyahu, I don't know how involved he is, but you would assume at least somewhat involved. They managed to essentially corner Iran into a deal which they like. I mean, ultimately, Iran shoots a couple of weak missiles at a U.S. base. They evacuate everybody in advance. It is shocking that they did it on Qatari soil, but whatever. And it was obviously just to save face, man. Persians are a very prideful people. I know Persians very well. Met many Persians in my life. I think their problem is pride. I don't know. You tell me more, Zarabi. It feels like Persians really they're a very prideful, which is fine. It's fine, but when it's in the military, it's a little bit less fine. You know what I mean? But here we are anyway, and this plays out. It plays out. They bomb their nuclear facilities. We get our pumps back, ladies and gents. Look at this. We're up, quite nicely. Just here on these, I believe these are hourly candles. And right here, they applied pressure and struck a deal when Iran was weak, exactly as predicted. Meanwhile, half of the market went full bear market in their analysis, which is ridiculous. Here is the White House. The White House says, congratulations to everyone. It's been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. And this was posted a couple of hours ago. Congratulations to everyone. It's been fully agreed. Complete and total ceasefire. That's happening in a couple of hours. This is for 12 hours. Oh, it's a 12-hour ceasefire? I don't know what that means. Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. Okay, that's weird. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but basically, it's a huge round of patting themselves on the back right now, which, you know what? Fair enough. You can have opinions on why this is happening. Did we even need this conflict in the first place? Whatever. But ultimately, if what they're saying is true, and like I said, I believe it, then, obviously it's brilliant that they don't have nuclear bombs. The IRGC are fucking crazy. And, I think that if this is successful and Iran's now been pushed into a position where they had to strike peace, hey, at least the bombs stopped going off. The markets are back, and we can kind of have a sigh of relief right here. So I think that's definitely pretty cool. A lot of trust in Trump here. It's brilliant what they've done to the White House account. It is very, very impressive indeed. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. There we go. So it's a victory lap right now, and the markets are showing it. An incredible recovery. This is ultimately my point, is that so many people were lulled into this belief that this is a bearish chart. It's a chart that hasn't even seen any significant support levels yet. For me, like I said it was only in yesterday's video. Like I said, for me, I want to be bullish when we reach support levels. I know that it's like a super foreign concept to a lot of people. Smash up the likes if you're loving this so far. I know that it's a foreign concept to a lot of people, but me personally, I like to, buy when the price is low. I like to, seek bounces when we're approaching support levels. A lot of other people, as you approach support levels, especially when we got down to the bottom at 98K here, sentiment was extremely bearish, and it was like, well, I don't know where you guys are getting this from. Like we knew we could drop down this far. it's a little bit exhausting, to be honest, to say this over and over. That's why we're putting out less videos on the channel as well lately. It just is what it is. Let's see what we've got here in the live chat right now. He's truly $1 million man. Who's the $1 million man? Oh, Sammy's the $1 million man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Why is 𝐒𝐀𝐈𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗪 predicting so far into the future he needs to take a chill pill? I mean, you know, when you trade large enough sums of money, you're only looking at the long term. AL is saying it was expected Israel will hit by over 200 rockets, but the Air Force and Mossad took out all of them, so Iran shot Israel for the first time only 24 hours after we hit them. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's see what else we got here in the live chat. May not need you anymore, meaning me, but still here smashing the like since early 2018. Thanks for everything. Retired in 2021. Hey, congrats for retiring in 2021. I don't know if crypto had anything to do with that, but thank you very much for the kind words. I do appreciate that very, very much indeed. Yeah, pretty good time in the market, right? I mean, you know, look, so that's all the historic chart. If we bring it back to the modern chart right now that we're dealing with in real time, this is clearly a bunch of people being stupid and then being proven wrong again. And now we've reclaimed our range pretty well. We actually got the weekly close. You know, where was this? Down at just above 100k with a wick down to 98k. And this weekly candle, if we do anything above, if we close anything above 105.6, this weekly candle will become an engulfing candle. And in fact, if we get ever so slightly higher, meaning just basically above 106, that will be this candle. If this candle rises above 106, it'll eclipse this candle and the one prior and the one prior to that. That gives us a huge bullish engulfing candle moving forward. And by the way, it completely makes sense. If you've been watching this YouTube channel over the last few days, we've been saying it continuously right here that, you know, Trump is probably going to strike something when Iran gets weak enough, and in light, you know, we're going to end up getting in light of that, we're going to end up getting a really nice continuation to the upside, and that's exactly what happened, and we cannot be surprised by it, not even 1%. Badger is asking, is World War III off the cards with the ceasefire? I mean, no, but like, I don't know. I don't see the future. You don't see it either. Like, I don't even think I never thought World War III was going to happen. I've known this for a good number of years now. Although again, how do you define World War III? I guess, you know, it's you know, it's like defining when do you enter a bull market? You know, well, hard to say, right? But you know, I don't think we're headed there. I think trade ultimately, you know, it's money, right? And ultimately, you know, trade is a lot more profitable for a lot more people than war. So I think there's actually a lot of pressure. I mean, you look at the pressure on social media. Nobody wants war. This war got so much backlash. The campaign right now in Iran. But I tell you what, man. I tell you what. You know, like, strength is strength. I'll tell you strength when I see it. This man, literally came in. You know, like I said, if what they're saying is true and Iran indeed was close to nuclear weapons, of course they've been saying that for 30 years, but maybe they actually were close to nuclear weapons now. You know what? If it was true, then this guy came in, he bombed them, didn't really kill, I don't know, didn't sound like they killed any civilians, maybe, but hopefully not very many. And then they negotiated at least, you know, what is a temporary peace. So, I mean, ultimate power move, really. This is submission, you know, like if this was a martial arts, this is like a clean takedown. You know, it was like one move that looks risky, but the guy was super well trained, and it was just a clean takedown. Ayal, the end game is USA versus China. I completely agree with you. 2,500 kill, yeah, that's horrible. That's really, really sad. You know, but from the perspective of, you know, Trump, like, you know, even one death is too much in it, but, you know, from the perspective of Trump and you know, what they were trying to achieve in the Situation Room or whatever, you know, clearly a massive success, and yeah, dude, I completely agree with you. You know, China really is the end game. It's not Iran. What is Iran, dude? Like, they're disorganized. They just fucking talk. They have a lot of words. They don't really do a whole lot. You know, outdated technology, a leader that, like, you know, probably half the country doesn't like. Iran is not the concern. You know, it's very much a distraction, if nothing else. I think that the real concern would be what happens in Asia moving forward, and hopefully China's not stupid enough to do anything violent. But I don't know. I mean, we know that they want Taiwan and stuff like that. Iran has already rejected any ceasefire news. Okay, well, we're gonna have to see some what's the word? Some more confirmations on that, but ultimately, I'm going off what the official White House page is saying, and the BBC News and everything else. So I don't know. It could be false, but I'm not really inclined on saying that that's the case. Let's bring it back to the charts here for a second and talk about where these markets could be going. Of course, this is the main point of the YouTube channel, and if we zoom in here a little bit and kind of take a look at what's been going on, we've got just a really, really nice range right here that we've essentially reclaimed quite well. And I think that if we're able to kind of hold support down at, let's say about 103, which is a pretty, I think, important level for this range, then I think we're good. We're above 104, which is really good. 104 was also an important range over here, and it was actually the resistance that I was watching. So it's brilliant to see that we managed to get above 104, and I'd love to see a retracement down to one of these two levels, be it 104 or 103. They're both pretty nice. Maybe we'll get people... what do I agree with AL? That the end game is USA versus China? I mean, I don't agree with you in the sense that, your comment kind of dramatizes it, but... yeah, I think that China is the real concern, not, a country like Iran or even Russia. I just don't see them as being, that concerning. Like, even ideologically, I think China is the only one that's like, okay, we've got to watch and see if this turns into something bad. I mean, I love Chinese people. I got nothing wrong with the people, but, the CCP government, they are, they're questionable, right? They're questionable. I know they rejected ceasefire. I can still hear the air defense going crazy and jets flying over. Dude, this is so crazy that we've got someone in Tehran right here in the live chat. Yeah, I mean, they said that the ceasefire would happen in a few hours, right? So I don't know. I don't. It's crazy. It's great, and I don't know exactly what you're asking me if I agree on, but I don't agree that World War III already started. I don't think so. I mean, because if you're using that, then it's a loose definition of World War III, right? Because ultimately, okay, the one big fight was Russia Ukraine, but then there was also it's like Sudan is probably still fighting, and I'm sure there's a handful more in Africa. And then obviously a little bit of fighting in Asia, right? So is that a world war? I mean, it depends on how you stretch the definition, right? But I think what many people would consider a world war is just multiple fronts with big countries and not cold wars, like actual war. And that's going to be, something in Asia, which, obviously hasn't happened yet, which is brilliant, which is absolutely great. The thing after that, just before the last one I wrote, about the thing where Trump just getting all the credit for the B-2 bomb. Well, the B-2 bomber was what ultimately took out those nuclear facilities, wasn't it? So I think they were quite impressive and really like quite impressive. I mean, that shit flew over from like was it like Missouri or something, like somewhere in America, without stopping to Iran. I mean, I've done that flight, quite a few times, like America to the Middle East, obviously to Dubai. That's a long flight. To be fair, okay, I understand, a plane can do it, but it's impressive. It's impressive, to be able to confidently fly that far, bomb a target, and then fly away and not worry about, refueling and stuff like that. Obviously, those bombers are impressive. It seems like they're, state of the art. I don't know if any country has anything better than that. So that's interesting. But hey, let me get back to the prices here. This is a lot more important for this channel. As far as kind of support levels go and stuff like that, this is what I'm watching for right now. We've kind of reclaimed the two important resistance levels that in my head were 103 and 104. I think that now that the fact that we've kind of reclaimed this means that, basically everything was in play that, didn't have everything that, happened before this is now back in play. And obviously that just means that we're kind of back to bull market vibes. We've got to see how markets respond tomorrow, right? But I think already, I don't know if oil trades 20. I should. I'm embarrassing myself a little bit here, but yeah, oil is trading right now, and look at that drop right there. I mean, this tells you everything, doesn't it? Am I even on the right chart? Yeah, I am. So obviously there was, a pretty big spike. What was that? Yeah, this is Sunday. Yeah, because obviously oil started trading on Sunday. Pretty big spike right here. And this was obviously, in response to the war and how things were mounting. And by the way, I mean, Trump posted just the other day about, regime change in Iran, right? Those of you that are watching him on Truth Social, you'll remember that, he wrote "Make Iran Great Again," which was hilarious. And what I think is especially interesting is that happened, if I'm not mistaken, just a day or two before the bombers attacked the nuclear facility, and then of course a day after that is today, right, where the peace was brokered. So what we saw is that the most extreme rhetoric of not only are we gonna bomb your nuclear facilities, but we're also gonna overthrow your leader. The most extreme rhetoric happened obviously right at the top and right before the negotiated peace, which again, is 100% in line with this right here, like this beautiful chart right here from a friend of mine illustrating the day that Israel launched preemptive strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, and where the ceasefire between Israel and Iran happened, and where my tweet was in between, where I was saying that Israel and the United States will be applying pressure on Iran, and then they will concede. Iran will concede after that. So that is exactly, kind of what we had predicted right here. Take a look at this. This is the actual tweet. And that ended up working out incredibly well. Smash up the likes, ladies and gents, if you are finding this live stream useful so far. It was only negotiation tactics and direct threats. I absolutely believe it. I mean, this is how it works, right? Because here's the thing is that, you've at first you've got, a lot of big words, right? Like, we've got to take out the nuclear facilities. We've got to overthrow the leader. A lot of big words, a lot of people saying it, a lot of fighting. I mean, America believed it. The world believed it. The world was criticizing Trump or praising Trump or whatever, but people were talking about it and people believed it. And then they bombed those nuclear facilities. So, okay, these threats are no longer threats. They are actually warnings, and they've played out. And there's more threats still, like "Make Iran Great Again," like regime change. I mean, that is the perfect time to apply pressure on somebody that you're trying to negotiate with. It's when you've already made threats, you've proven your threats to be real, and you've got more threats still that you haven't pulled out of your back pocket fully. That is the best time to negotiate and, and get what you want. And that's exactly, and we expect, I mean, if you don't expect this, I don't know, like, what you've been paying attention to, that you think that Trump is going to go into a negotiation with Khomeini, out of all people, it's not even like a particularly successful leader, that he's going to go into negotiations with these people in Iran, or whoever it may have been, maybe it was an intermediary, and that he's not going to get what he wants. I think it's silly. I think it's really silly. Like I said, 3 election wins in a row and brilliant judgment, brilliant negotiator. You can hate him all you like, and there are great reasons to hate him. I understand why people don't like him, but he's good at what he does. And I think it's childish, I think, to have thought that Trump wouldn't have gotten a better outcome than what the status quo was, a week ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So, I think from those perspectives, look, I could be wrong about this, right? But this is where it starts becoming a lot more feasible to imagine that our markets are back, okay? Because unless they do want to go for full-scale regime change, and again, it's a very political discussion, so, whatever. It might happen, it might not, but as long as they don't, as long as this doesn't kind of get drudged back up again, which it totally could, because again, it's Trump, right? It's quite unpredictable. But as long as it doesn't happen, we're in a really good place to go bullish again, ladies and gents. We're in a really, really good place to go bullish again. The S&P hasn't even broken its all-time high, but it is consolidating at its all-time high. You know what I mean? Like, these are really, really, incredible moments right now for the market to kind of start picking something up and doing something with this. And I don't think that the markets won't do that. And, if we bring it back to oil, like I said, I mean, this is where tensions were kind of at their peak. And look at how far oil dropped now. Oil is still trading. This is the response, right? If you're worried because they were blocking the Strait of Hormuz, Iran, where it was blocking it, I mean, I don't know, how much you guys know about the geography, but let me embarrass myself and pull this up real quick. Let's see. Bear with what we got in the comments here. Check S&P 500 futures. Okay, I will do that in just a minute here. Just bear with. But if we go ahead and the thing after that, just before, oh no, I already read that. Check S&P 500 futures. We'll do that in a bit. Say everything about Trump, but instead of doing politics on politics, he's doing business and politics. It's true. It's true. It's true. Approximately 30 miles wide, the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a choke point, right? And they were blocking oil shipments, and they said that they're gonna do this if I'm always wearing a hood. Yeah, it's just because I've been growing my hair out. I mean, I don't think it looks bad, but it doesn't look bad, does it? But it's obviously a little bit, unkept, so it's just easier, isn't it, to just put the hood up? And I like wearing a hood, man. I grew up wearing hoodies, you know what I mean? So, this is just what I like to do. But yeah, I think for sure. Hang on, let's see. I can't pull anything up here, man. Yeah, nope. Can't show you guys anything. But hey, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, the point stands quite clearly that they were blocking shipment paths, and obviously if there's a ceasefire, that's probably gonna not happen. And oil has dropped. Okay, so if oil is dropping, then we're clearly good. We're clearly not like completely screwed. That's gonna be a sign that actually our markets that we're kind of speculating on will be doing a little bit better. By the way, those of you that are interested, oil is actually tradable on Bybit, which is really cool. And you can check that out right here, linked in the description. It's tradable on Bybit. I think it's really, really cool. You can Tesla, whatever you like. I mean, a bunch of stocks, a bunch of commodities now, Forex, obviously. Bybit just has it all. They're the biggest one that has it as well, which is pretty cool. Some exchanges have had it in the past and now they don't have it anymore, stuff like that. But yeah. So I think that things are in a pretty good spot right now, especially with oil coming down. That really confirms a lot. It's down by a lot, by the way. I mean, the entire gain that it had throughout the month of June is gone. It's essentially, it almost reset down to May levels. And this was a big move up, by the way, in June. I mean, 20% oil is a commodity. Like, planes run on this shit. Like, it's not some fucking shit coin that doesn't influence the world. This is direct inflation, and it's reversed. So I think that that's, really quite impeccable, quite a big deal. I feel, the fact that happened right there. So, again, support levels probably back in play over here. Bitcoin's dominance not really going down very much. It picked up a lot throughout the month of June, especially in the recent days, and yeah, it's come down a little bit now, but I think that, the chance of Bitcoin breaking its all-time high is quite high now. I think the chance of Bitcoin getting above 112K, I think that chance is quite high. And just as we saw in this rally up, basically from, early April to what was this, late May, if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance throughout the same time period, early April was... Where was early April? Early April was right here. Actually, we don't really see anything, do we? It just kind of like went down and back up. But yeah, for sure, we did see while the market was moving up, a big increase in Bitcoin dominance. have no. So the team, Four Flies team, no, nobody. I don't think anybody on the team has traded oil on Bybit yet. Because it was very recent that they added this stuff. Like maybe I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, like super recent, maybe more. So you know, and to be honest, like I don't really have experience trading stuff like oil. I don't think any of us do actually. So you know, it's not really a safe feeling. I feel a lot safer, you know, with Bitcoin, you know, because I understand it quite well. I feel like oil should be quite easy, you know, but gold is down. Yeah, I mean, it is gonna, again, it's another thing that people kind of hedge with, right? It's not down that much. It's not down that much, but I think oil is a much more direct one. To be honest, I do want to trade a lot of that stuff. I do. I'm very interested in it, but you know, I need to feel safe. You know what I mean? Like if I'm trading, I'm not gonna do it with a tiny amount of money, so I need to feel safe to do that. Have I picked up any Ethereum? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I did actually. Yeah. Like a month or two, maybe like 2 months ago. But like I didn't buy much. You know what I mean? I just bought a little bit. Even this has made a recovery, but I do think that, you know, Bitcoin's dominance is going to pick back up, and I think that, you know, we're going to see, you know, 66, 67, you know, whatever percent dominance. I think quite likely. So. Definitely, you know, I think more kind of trauma coming for the altcoins, but you know, I mean, I could be wrong. You know, things could get really bullish now. You know, I think a big thing is waiting for that U.S. Open. You know, waiting for that U.S. Open tomorrow, to see what actually happens, what the reaction is. You know, from the rest of the world as well, right? I mean, Europe was probably like just going to sleep as this news came out. You know, and I don't know if like China and all them have woken up yet. They probably are about to wake up. So, you know, the news is going to spread, and I want to see, you know, what the reception is like. You know, but I think that we're probably looking at a return to kind of, you know, what was happening, just, you know, obviously with America in a stronger position. I mean, you know, that's how it works, right? The winner wins. You know, a lot of people don't like these kind of ideas. It's like you said, Ayala, as well. I mean, you know, you can have opinions on these people as much as you want, but Netanyahu is a very, very, very strong negotiator. You know, in what he gets his way, ultimately, is the point, right? Like, forget labels. Does the leader get his way? Yes or no? They get their way. You know what I mean? So, the move up will catch most off guard. I completely agree. Because nobody was expecting this. I mean, when we got down to this low, I was like borderline getting clowned for saying that I don't think we're gonna drop much lower. You know what I mean? Like I was like, people were like almost. I mean, people don't really do it anymore because they know better than to fade Mr. Sammy Loyal. But you know, it still happens a little bit, especially by people who don't know me. And I was, like I said, first thing I said on this live stream, I was like, I don't know where these ideas came from, that Bitcoin was in a bad place, or that the S&P was in a bad place, or that we're going bearish, and it's just so silly. It's just so silly. You know, if you just watch this channel and consume nothing else, you would have been right about everything. It says something. Yeah, ladies and gents, if you have enjoyed this one, do me a favor and smash up those likes. Double check that you're subscribed. Tick the bell icon. Check out the beautiful links down below if you're not from a restricted region. We're probably going to be wrapping this one up relatively soon. So, yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this one. Probably end the recording there. And if you guys have any final questions, then drop them in the live chat now. Like I said, I don't know if it's the time of day or the fact that the channel is dying. Probably both, but performance is pretty shit, and I love you guys, by the way. I mean, it's still cool to have 130 people, but you know, going live takes a lot more work than making a video. You guys got to understand, you know, like it's technical issues, you know what I mean? Like that happens a lot, at least for me. But yeah, that kind of like stops me from going live a little bit. We'll do more of it. I think we just gotta go live at a better time. Check S&P 500 futures. Yes, we will do that right now. SP 500 futures. Let's see what we got right here. 6105. And on the S&P here. Oh, wow. It's a big jump, huh? It's a big jump. For the S&P 500, I mean, you know, if this is legit, then the S&P is trading up here now. It's at an all-time. It's fucking happening, ladies and gents. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this is gonna stick. Obviously, there's a lot of hours left until the S&P opens again. And it could turn out that the ceasefire doesn't happen, right? Like we've had somebody commenting on that in the live chat today. It could be that the ceasefire doesn't even end up happening, but you know, I mean, it looks like the market. And by the way, we've been saying for days on this weeks actually on this YouTube channel that the markets don't seem to care about any of the tension that happened. Remember, like, a lot of this shit started happening after Elon went after Trump on June 5th. After that happened, ladies and gents, we are definitely still looking at a market that doesn't care. It didn't care back then. It doesn't care now. It didn't even care when missiles were going back and forth. Yeah, over the last, like, week or two. It didn't. The market still didn't care. It dropped by a little bit, minor fluctuations, and people were labeling, you know, these fluctuations as being an end to the bull market. It's just silly. I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. These silly ideas. I can't do it. I can't do it. I got shit going on in my life. I got a fucking beautiful dog, beautiful girl. I got family, friends. I'm not interested in these fucking stupid ideas anymore. I can't. I ran out of patience. What do you want, man? Been doing this shit for 8 years on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like. I've been a YouTuber for like more than 15 years now, you know, so I'm out of patience. I don't like dealing with this kind of stupidity anymore. You know, to me, this stuff is obvious. I put this out on the YouTube channel and that's it. You know, from there, you know, you do whatever you want with it. The only thing I aim to do is speak to you guys on this YouTube channel the same way I would speak to any of you, all of you, if you were sat in front of me right now. StuTube, what's up, man? Lol Troller's got a troll. Let's fucking go. Some good listening. There we go, bro. There we go. Thank you very, very much. Dave saying, thanks, Sammy, for going live. You are one savvy young man. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Mike is saying, maybe wear normal clothes and don't look homeless and people will respect your stream more, buddy. You know what, mate? Maybe if I put on a suit and tie, yeah, and I went full corporate on you guys, that would be a little bit more comfortable for a couple of people. But you know what? If my hoodie is a problem stopping you from getting this analysis, that is your problem, sir. That's gonna be your problem. Yeah, you're right though. I would probably access more markets, more people, if I was more normal. But we're gonna roll with this. I'm gonna put it down to time zone actually. Your channel is top notch. You're one of the most accurate Bitcoin people. Channel dying, really? Yeah, but I don't think it's necessarily, you know, anything that we're doing wrong. I think it's just that, you know, people are leaving crypto, right? Like, interest in this space is so low right now. You know, and I think a big part of that is because basically nobody was positioned in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the only thing going up. You know, altcoins are really strong. I mean, you know, just to take a look at, you know, a big one that obviously all of you in the live chat probably hold or have held at some point. You know, Solana right here. I mean, you know, if we just kind of look back at, you know, where it is now, you know, this is, you know, like where Solana is now is the same place that it was at in the beginning of May, which is the same place at the end of March, same place beginning of March, same place for all of October, going back to April of last year. You know, Solana is in the same place. Bitcoin went up. Bitcoin did incredibly since this time period, yeah, since April. This was before Trump got shot, bear in mind. So the world was very different back then. Bitcoin did incredibly, but Solana, one of the most widely held crypto coins, is just back where it was literally over a year ago. Over a year ago. You know, and I think that is what has driven a lot of people out of this space. You know, but it doesn't ultimately matter for those of us that are still in, right? The market, you know, yeah, it's a little bit slow and boring and shit and painful, but it's not impossible. You know, things still make sense. You just have to not, you know, have your head stuck up your ass. You have to not, you know, consume mainstream media or even talk to your friends about the market, which I've been saying a lot about lately because everybody gets this shit wrong. There's no point listening to them. Sammy, without the last 12 days, Bitcoin would be on 125k today. It's only delayed him. I completely agree. Completely agree. Completely agree. If the last 12 days didn't happen, all markets would be at all-time highs right now, I think, for the most part. Like S&P and Bitcoin and so on. Thanks for the stream very late in the UK, but well worth the watch. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you very much for tuning in. Miss the UK. Not enough, but I do miss it. Yeah, all right, ladies and gents. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. You know what to do if you have, and I think we'll be seeing you all in the next one. Market seems to have calmed down for a little bit. Obviously, if things start kind of happening again, we'll be right back. We'll try and do some more live streams. I do want to pick up the live streams. Live streams are my favorite way to put out content, but like I said, it's a little bit more effort. I just need to see the numbers for, you know what I mean? Otherwise, rather just do a video and get back to normal life. But yeah, it is late. It is late. So we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.